All right, and welcome everyone. I'm Jennifer Britton, the CEO of Potentials Realized. Thank you for joining me live as we have John here on the line, or probably more on demand. It is the day after Labor Day in September 2022, and we wanted to get back to some of the things that we really love doing here at Potentials Realized. So if you're not familiar with us, we are all about everything group and team coaching, as well as a specialization on virtual, remote, and hybrid. When I set up Potentials Realized back in April of 2004, my vision was to provide a conversation space for people to learn and grow and come together around all things groups and teams. And so over the years, you might have seen me on some of my many recordings where people are live or on demand. Something that we know from our alumni, which are generally coaches, people really love connecting in and hearing sort of what's on the go. So this year, as we've grown, and some of you may know our team members, we've got Ivana Valet, who is our team lead for group coaching. We've got Kathy Vaughn, who is our team lead for team coaching. And we've got Rita Vivat, who is our team lead for virtual, remote, and hybrid. Together, we're really having a lot of fun and hearing from our group members, our trainees, our students and alumni, just how much they love hearing sort of what's on the flow. So that's helped us shape what we're going to be bringing to you this fall, which is a series of ongoing community calls. We are going to pilot this 12 noon Eastern Tuesday period for about 30 minutes. Not every week, but almost 2 or 3 times a month. And so today, wanted to share a little bit about that, and then a little bit about something I'm really excited about, which is our upcoming team and group coaching superpower quiz. So first things first, you're invited. And I hope that whether you're here live or listening in over at our YouTube channel, which is Effective Group Coach, that you'll join us for one or more of these fall calls. So a few weeks ago, I published a couple of versions of these community calls. I will say it's interesting. The accessible version for me and my good and bad eye was not what most people could read. So thank you for the feedback. I adjusted it, and you can find these on our LinkedIn page. You can find these also over on our Facebook page, or simply just pick up your email and just blast me an email, info@potentialsrealized.com. But as you'll see here, from now until the end of the year, we've got a variety of different calls for the different people in our ecosystem and in our community. So some of you are group coaches, some of you are team coaches, some of you are just interested in virtual, remote, and hybrid. And as you know, these are the areas that I write and speak on. So you're going to notice in our schedule, we've got everything ranging from demo days, where we're going to take a deeper dive into group coaching. We've got some calls around coaching supervision. We've got calls around team coaching. And of course, reconnecting workspaces, which is more about today's evolving workspace. So on the schedule that you will find online, you'll also find it through our weekly newsletters, no longer monthly, our weekly newsletter. Please download the community call schedule. When you arrive, you'll see probably myself, sometimes solo, but many times with one or more of our team members. And just to help you discern what is going to be the best fit for you, take a look at that final column where we've sort of said, this is a call for everyone, or this is a call for people who are interested more in group coaching or team coaching or virtual, remote, and hybrid. So we really hope that you will join us, because it's our way to just keep you posted on all the really fun things that we're doing. And again, fun is in reaction to the questions, the needs that we are seeing out in the world at large. It's quite rare for a business to have 3 niche areas, but that is what we do at Potentials Realized. And at this moment in time, it's really amazing to continue to see the explosion of interest and demand around groups, teams, and of course, our evolving workspace. So I want to say thanks to you, John. John, because you're here with us live, anything you want to share about what you're excited about this fall?
Yeah, well, I'm very excited to continue the learning process and the collaborative process that I was exposed to being in the trifecta programs, the group and team coaching and the practicum, and just taking these and applying them to my coaching practice of working with newcomers and expatriates adapting to culture in Canada and elsewhere. And it just the program was so incredible and just had such a good feeling, and it's given me a lot of confidence. And I really like the idea of being able to just collaborate and learn more from all of these calls that are coming up. It's really exciting. Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that. And John is one of our many trifecta students, right? Like, and the trifecta is something we introduced this year because a lot of people over the last 18 years have come in, they've taken group coaching and maybe the practicum, but then they're like, but wait, team coaching, I need that as well. So I really love hearing how your experience has been with us. And of course, John got to work with not only me, but of course with Kathy and Ivana. And I think together, even for the three of us, we each bring a very different orientation, different strengths, different superpowers. In fact, this was one of the reasons why I wanted to do our next quiz on the superpowers. So thank you, John, for being here with us live. And I think John probably speaks to a lot of your experience for those joining us on, on video relay. This business, again, in response to what we've been hearing from people, is the need for ongoing learning. And so I first introduced community calls in year one of this business. Community calls used to be year end, take a look back at what's happening in the space of group and team coaching. As my body of work continued to increase, I think it was probably 2016 where I then started, as books were coming out, started doing a series of these community calls, part education, part experience, part an opportunity for you to just continue your learning journey. Because as coaches, our learning should never stop. That's a pretty strong should, but the world of our clients, the world that we operate within, continues to evolve. And although our programming is excellent, I love hearing that your experience was excellent, John, we recognize that it is, just the start. That's why we call our programs the essentials. It's a starting point. And certainly as the capacity here at Potentials Realize continues to grow, so will our programming. And we're going to be spending a lot of time this fall helping, alumni and new students really think about what's that pathway that's going to help you continue to grow and evolve, whether you're a new coach, you're an experienced coach, or you're a very seasoned coach. We really hope that you'll find value through all our programming. So please feel free, head on over, quick download again of these community calls, GroupCoachingEssentials.ca. It might also be another really fast way. So GroupCoachingEssentials.ca. At the upper right corner of the first page, and really all our pages, you should see a thumbnail download link that you can actually click. It'll look like this, and then you can get your own PDF copy. So please feel free to join us this fall. I'm spending a lot of time as CEO these days, really thinking about how do we become better at sort of, talking about the different pathways. And many of you know my writing on different levels, whether you've come in through group coaching, like effective group coaching, whether you've come in from one to many, which of course covers group and team coaching, or you're looking more at the evolving workspace, where I've been spending a lot of time these last couple of years around reconnecting workspaces. So with that, we're going to dive in today, and I'm really excited with a few other pieces. The one that's pulling my eye today is more also this just reminder or maybe announcement for some of you of overall coaching development. So many of you have joined us over the years, mentor coaching groups, right? Whether you're new or you're seasoned, maybe you've been with us for an ACC or PCC, new application or renewal. We are also now starting to offer supervision groups. So coaching supervision is really evolutionary here in North America. For those coaches that are joining us from Europe or Australia, you might be even more familiar with what coaching supervision is, but it's slightly different than the work of a mentor coach. As a mentor coach for many years, I opted in this last year to start doing advanced training in coaching supervision, in part because part of the evolution of the team coaching field is going to be a requirement for people working towards their ACTC, the new advanced certification in team coaching, to have formal work with a coaching supervisor. So you might be going, well, that's great. So that's the why, but what really is coaching supervision? And again, coaching supervision is that space of reflective pause for a coach to come together, work with a supervisor on looking at their work on a couple of different levels. There's in fact 3 different levels. So developmentally, how are you doing as a coach? Also reflectively, what needs to change? And also sort of on a skill by skill basis, what is needed. So that skill basis you might be more familiar with in mentor coaching, but the supervisor's role really is a lot more of creating a pause point. So if you're interested in that, and just again, it will be, it's an evolving area for those of us in North America. For the ICF, it is actually for many credential renewals. You can count supervision hours just as you can count mentor coaching hours, but it's something that I think you're going to be hearing a lot more around. And myself and Kathy Vaughn are both at different places in our own formal training as accredited supervisors. So just as like things have evolved, you're not going to want to just hire any supervisor. You're going to want to make sure that it's an accredited supervisor that will meet your needs, especially in the realm of team coaching. So we've got a call. Kathy and I, in the next couple of weeks, will be focusing on team coaching supervision. And we're going to be doing sort of an intro call. It's going to be open to everyone on September the 15th, because we're going to be starting our 6-month supervision groups in early October. And anyone who's interested, you don't have to be a team coach, but maybe you're wanting to work towards the new evolving advanced team coaching certification, or maybe you just want to have that reflective space. So check it out. You'll learn more, again, GroupCoachingEssentials.ca. So today I wanted to take us back to something that's evolving. So part of our work really has been to look at, how do we not only support our clients, which has been the focus of the last few years, but how do we continue to support you as coaches? And one of the fun sidebar projects that I launched last year was something known as the Hybrid Work Styles Quiz. And I'm not going to assume that everyone has taken it, because it's only been taken by, less than 10,000 people at this stage, which in the span of the world is not that many. Some of you might go, wow, that many? It's like, yes. But the Work Styles Quiz, the Hybrid Work Styles Quiz, is a fun extension of the writing and work that I've been doing under the Remote Pathways banner, under Reconnecting Workspaces. And what I've noticed over the years as a team coach is just how different our team members really are. Now, that's always been an instance that we know that diverse teams, in fact, are the strongest teams. And what we've been experiencing in these last 2 to 3 years is that added zest of, things get even more magnified in the virtual, remote, and hybrid space. Now, all of us in the world have had that experience for several years. I've had that experience now for 3 decades. And the teams that I've always led have been typically hybrid. Definitely, they may be hybrid across one country or hybrid across the world. And that's led me in my work as a practitioner to really be very reflective in recent years around how do we truly help teams do even better work? How do we help people identify what they need and articulate that better? And we've got so many different frameworks, whether you're coming in at it through strengths or the DISC or the MBTI, or, just pick anything. But really, with teams, they don't care what we're bringing in. They just want something where people can come and have a shared language and have shared frameworks together. So that, in fact, was the root for the Hybrid Work Styles Quiz, which I evolved in 2021. And it is a quick quiz. You can visit it online if you've never taken it. Again, the premise of it is that we all bring different ways of working and have different preferences. These differences influence what we prioritize, how we view the world. And as I said, they're usually magnified and enhanced in the virtual, remote, and hybrid world. So when we as coaches work with individuals, groups, or teams, these styles may be showing up. They may, in fact, be influencing the way people are working. So if you've not taken the quiz, invite right now, https://bit.ly.com/hybrid work quiz. Again, I'll read that out, bit.ly.com if you're listening, /hybrid work quiz. Obviously with an end, it's a little cut off on the screen. But again, the fascination as a coach for this for me has been to see how all of my different clients really take a different path. So as you can see here, last year's body, and this is still open, to anyone. We're using it a lot right now, actually, in organizations with teams and entire departments. So we're getting a lot more validation. It was originally a quiz, so it's not to say it's empirical by any nature, but really was built as something to be a conversation starter and conversation sparker for teams to start realizing, how am I a little different? What contribution do I bring to the workplace? How might this help me understand not only myself, but those that I work with? And so we've got all of these different characters. I'm just going to go back to these. Some of you might recognize these folks as part of the Digital Dozen, who we've been talking about at the Remote Pathways podcast for the last 3 years. So starting at the bottom right, we've got our builder. And our builder, of course, is Joe, who's a virtual team leader. Joe loves to get things done, just like the check mark. She just wants to get into action and wants to get things done. But if she approaches each of her team members, and these are her team members here on the screen, she's going to what? She's going to probably create a lot of conflict, probably create a lot of disengagement. If we look at today's languaging, she's going to have a team that probably doesn't exist. So we've got to recognize or help Joe help her team in understanding what are their real needs. So we've got just above Joe, we've got, of course, our mega billionaire who, if you've been following us on the Remote Pathways podcast, we have an avatar, a character who is known in this framework as an innovative experimenter. And she has gone on to take her knowledge base and actually scale a business to $1 billion and sold it, and then came and joined Joe's team. Her needs are a little bit different as an innovative experimenter, just like a mad scientist. An innovative experimenter on a team needs that constant space and challenge to get out there, try things out, merge things together, fuse them together, and get feedback, which is very different than her colleague in the purple, who of course is our team coach, who is known as a culture wizard. And the culture wizards on a team are typically ones that want to get things happening. Culture wizards are all about developing that robust team culture, helping teams articulate who we are as a team. How do we do things? How do we operate effectively? What are our norms and what are our goals? And so you might recognize yourself, especially if you are a coach and a team coach, that you might be doing a lot of those, stimulating a lot of those conversations. And just like the benefit of having the builder in the team who gets things done, the innovative experimenter who's all about like trying new things, being able to pivot and fail forward, the culture wizard is the one who's usually holding or hitting pause to help the team have the discussions that are needed. And she gets to collaborate really well. Mel, the coach, gets to collaborate really well with her colleague in the aqua, which is Mo. And Mo also is a coach, but she's an internal external coach. She comes in and does coaching days. She's like the coach on call for this team. Now, she's also a visionary. And just like any visionary, she loves to work with this team on casting vision, right? And why is vision important? Because we know that if you don't have a vision of where you're going, it's very hard to get there. We can go right back to the work of Peter Drucker and all these great management theorists that are now being backed by some research to show that really the power of vision is so important. And so Mo, in her interesting internal external role in this team, is also holds that space for the team dialogue around where are we going as a team, in this ever-changing environment. Like last year, we were totally out of the office. Then we went to a hybrid environment. Now we're back in. What does our work look like? And people like Joe, who's the formal leader, who is really going to be the builder and getting things done. Joe's becoming aware of how important it is for that visionary to have space to articulate and lead from those skills. So these are the things that we see playing out in a team every day. And as a team coach, it can be valuable to have some of this archetype framework to help understand and help the team understand What are those things you want to dial up, those natural gifts and talents that you want to dial up? And also, how may it get in the way? Where may it be overcompensated? So, Joe, our team lead in the blue, sorry, in the purple, in the green on the bottom right, is a little bit like me, right? Like as a former team leader myself, I loved getting things done, but I knew that I had to really slow that down, dial that down, so that I could allow the team to also get to the place that I was operating at. And in my team experience, many of like my teams over the years grew in complexity. The last team I led, 10 different countries, 26 nationalities, 26 different technical areas of expertise. And I don't say that to go, wow, that's so amazing. I say that to say the complexity of a team grows with its numbers. And all the team effectiveness things that we know are there. Doesn't matter if your team is big or small, one country or multiple countries, teams are teams are teams. One of the most important team members we tend to find in any team is what's known as a connector. And you can see him here, which is Ned, the newest team member, who is the new remote worker in our Remote Pathways podcast, who is a connector, who really comes along to almost be that glue. They are the bridge that help team members come together to really do their best work. So from a very simple framework and quiz approach, we can look at supporting our clients. And in fact, for the last year and a half, I've been running the Reconnecting Workspaces Certified Coach Training Program. And an offshoot of that has been a 5-week program where we actually take a deep dive into coaching the hybrid work styles. It's been fun. It's been great. It's going to be continuing this fall. It's really geared for those of you that might be in an organization and are looking at how do we help teams articulate this. Because as much as I can do this and take it out, to tens of thousands of people, I want more and more coaches to be using this framework, because we're really seeing that it creates that springboard, that conversation zone for teams to understand how do we, in all our unique variety, harness that for something that's going to work well rather than get in the way of our process. And so as that's been rolling out, I've also been thinking a lot, well, now what about the fact that, as team coaches, we're coming in and we're working with teams, but given that, I have to serve these diverse teams, what do I need to know about myself? And that's where my Summer 22 project has come in, which is our next one, which is the Team and Group Coaching Superpower Quiz. So I want to segue, and actually there's a good recording here. For those interested in learning more on this, listen to me speak with Valerie. Valerie A is one of our Reconnecting Workspaces certified coaches. And in the last year, Valerie has taken a lot of this framework of our coaching the hybrid work styles and the reconnecting workspaces into her workspace. And it's a pretty fascinating 20-minute conversation that you can find on YouTube using this link to just hear about, how does this conceptually in a book translate to practical work in a team. And as I've taken Valerie and dozens of others through Reconnecting Workspaces, we've been spending a lot of time talking then about the role of the coach. So this is the bridge again to where we are right now in fall 2022, which in hopefully the next week or so, I'll have our latest quiz available, and it's going to be available on GroupCoachingEssentials.ca. So you might even see it before I see it, because literally the coders are working on it right now. But this year for the fall, one of my contributions in the body of work is really going to be helping you as a coach think about what are your natural inclinations, what are the natural skills and talents that you bring as an individual coach, a group, or a team coach that you could be dialing up and dialing back for your work. So that is the Group and Team Coaching Superpower Quiz. And really, it's going to help you learn a little bit more. It's going to give you that reflective spot for you to think about yourself as a coach, your strengths, your go-tos, your stretch points, your mantras, what's going to help you, enable you, and what might also get in the way. So I want to share a bit of a sneak peek to the whole framework because it's a little bit different. It is related. I want to keep this super simple. You've met our last team. So now we have a new team coming in because these are the coaches that are working with Joe's team. You heard me talk about Joe's team and how we have builders and we have innovative experimenters, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we're a little bit different in our work as coaches. And so there are some new categories. We have the Catalytic Firecracker, the coach who comes in and creates that wow, whether it's a wow because of like music and action and doing meditation or doing whatever, they create with their clients a wow. And their strength is really about creating those spaces for sparks to happen, for teams and individuals and groups to come together and go, oh my goodness, this is the most amazing thing. Now, that rule is a little bit different than our ecosystem connectors. And as many of you can appreciate, at least right now in the coaching world, there really is a whole other flavor of coaching that's been emerging in recent years around systemic coaching. And so many coaches, either innately or by learned approaches, have been developing their strengths as an ecosystem connector. I'm not going to go into a lot of depth about each one of these, but I just want to say sort of a sentence or two, because unlike the Catalytic Firecracker that's really looking about like, how do we create these moments of great like insight for our clients? The ecosystem connector is the type of person who's going to work with a group, a team, and help people really look at how they're connecting in with others. They might also, as an ecosystem connector, be the individual coach who is helping an individual explore the different areas of the systems in which they operate. So you might be saying, heck, yes, that's me. I'm the ecosystem connector. Some of you might be actually saying, you know what? I'm the catalytic firecracker. I want to create those moments of deep insight, of wisdom. And recognize that with superpowers, they may look and sound a little different if we're sitting down one-on-one with a client, whether we're working with a group or we're working with a team. I'm going to go down to the yellow, and you can see there a little bit of a labyrinth because we have a third type of coach. And again, this is based on a little bit of research, but a lot of this right now is very much based on the work that I've done with coaches in their development through mentor coaching groups. So the G Lab or the grounded labyrinth. And I think we've all met those coaches who really bring a superpower around somatic approaches. The coach who is able to create space and create pause and create those moments of insight through being. A grounded labyrinth coach is really, their gift is truly the ability to create that pause for not only themselves, but that space of deep reflection and deep quiet for learning for others. So again, thinking of many of you that I've had the privilege to work with, when I started putting this archetype together, this was one of the first ones I thought of, because many of you are the grounded labyrinth. We've got two more, and then I'm going to get you, John, not to put you on the spot, but maybe you have an inkling as to who you are. We also have the Spiral Lighthouse coach. And the Spiral Lighthouse coach is the coach that's so, their superpower is truly being able to see the 360 of any environment. They are the type of coach that creates that safe harbor, hence this, the spiral lighthouse. We know lighthouses as the ability to create the pause, but the spiral nature is not only in the 360 that the lighthouse view provides, but the fact that as we're climbing the staircase with our clients, we're helping clients and perhaps sometimes ourselves see things from a different perspective. Think about what it's like to go up a spiral staircase. We're still looking at that midpoint, yet as we go up the staircase, we're seeing it from different vantage points. So Spiral Lighthouse coaches, you might bring a great ability to help clients on an individual, group, or team level really look at things from multiple perspectives, right? That's a little different than the grounded labyrinth coach, who is helping people really get grounded and perhaps in that quiet zone, seeing things from a different side. The ecosystem connector would be looking at it maybe through layers of stakeholder mapping. But the spiral lighthouse coach is going to look at it through the lens of perspectives. And finally, we've got a fifth type, which is the creative tool master. And so I would say this is probably where I am. The creative tool master is always dreaming up something new. They have something in their back pocket. They're whipping it out. It's like, oh, I've got the Post-it notes. Oh, hey, I've got this approach. Hey, I've got this visualization. But the creative tool master's strength is they've got something for everyone, right? They've really got a variety of approaches. Their toolbox might be like bursting open. And their superpower is their ability to bring it and to really help clients, like we saw in our team before, really approach things on all different layers. So this is going to be coming out in the next week or two. I hope that you're going to stay tuned. And I don't know, John, is there one or two? Because typically, as we've seen with the hybrid work styles, we may have a primary, but we might also have a secondary that is pretty close by. What's calling to you today without even taking a quiz?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that I obviously there's a little bit I see of myself in almost all of them, but I'd say I kind of leaning towards the grounded labyrinth and also a bit of the tool, the culture tool person, because I do certainly like to play with a lot of new toys that come up to help my clients explore different possibilities and create greater awareness. But having that quiet time is I think really something that I like to give my clients, that space to consider and also consider different perspectives as well. So of course, I'll be interested to see what comes up in the quiz, because I may have a different orientation than I think.
You never know. Well, like anything, I always like to hold this as it's an opportunity to sort of think about it, right? And you don't have to say, this is me. I think there's a piece of us, as you've said, in all of these. So this is going to be available very soon. I hope that it's going to be something you enjoy. There's going to be a report that goes along with it into greater depth. We're going to be inviting people to actually book a call with us if you'd like to talk about it further. And I'm currently working on a 5-week course, actually, for coaches about activating their group and team coaching superpowers. So it is going to be of interest and use to anyone, right? It's not just team and group coaches. This will be of interest to you as an individual group coach. But why I'm focusing in on the group and team coaching in particular is the fact that so many times we also have to activate our skills with a co-coach. So how do we also have a framework that's going to help us quickly say to someone that we might just be meeting, hey, you know what? Like, I think something I can bring to this relationship, just as you said, John, is the ability to hold the space for being, that space for pause. And that would be a great complement to, say, the Catalytic Firecracker, who might be more about, let's get into action. But what would happen when the two of you come together? The action and the deep pause, the slowing down. That combination then allows for something even greater for our clients. So you'll be hearing me talk a lot more about this team and group coaching superpower quiz. Again, it's a quiz. My hope, and actually my dream, if I can sort of put it out there, my vision is I'm currently working on a new team coaching book, a new book for 2023. And part of it, I would like to have the superpower, but being validated by at least 25,000 coaches. I want 25,000 coaches to take this so that we can see, is this just a framework, or is this something, is there actually some empirical grounding that we can put in it? So that's a whole other conversation, but I hope when you see this maybe come across your screen, you'll see some of these, imagery so that it gives you the familiarity that, oh, that's that thing that Jen's putting out this fall. But I really hope that this is going to be something that will help coaches at least stop, pause, and think about, how does this help me? How does this help me understand myself better? How does it maybe create a contrast to where I'm seeing myself? How would it help me not only serve my clients, but be in relationship better with other collaborators? Because it is an exciting time to be a coach. I want to thank you for joining us. John, thank you for joining us today. I know I've gone a little bit longer. Stay tuned over at GroupCoachingEssentials.ca. And just before we go, what was the most valuable part of our call today, John? What are you taking away?
Well, I think just that idea of this quiz and having a better understanding of what your orientations are. I'm a big fan of assessments just to raise that awareness, and then being able to go as a starting point for a conversation or for self-reflection. So just even those concepts are kind of new to me, thinking of it in those terms. The grounded labyrinth, the catalytic Firestar. Sorry, I'm forgetting the exact terms, but the images are standing out of my head. I can say that. Yeah,
well,
I got the imagery.
That is the thing, right? It's like images is a lot. So notice for each one of these, there is, a metaphor embedded in it. There is a short titling, and that's to intrigue you to actually read on. So when the quiz is live, you'll be able to download a 12-page report. We really invite you to set up a conversation with us. We're doing those 15-minute calls that we know people love, but that 15-minute call is to help you think about, how does this sit with you? How does this connect with you? How may this help you on your next phase of your development as a coach? And with that, we look forward to continuing to be here with you in lots of calls next week. Our Tuesday call, I'm going to be hosting that with Ivana Valet. We're going to be actually doing a bit of a deeper dive into group coaching, and we're going to be looking at group dynamics. We've decided we're seeing that a lot of clients are like, oh, coach clients are wanting to know more about group development. And so we're going to talk more about that next week in our Tuesday call. All of these you'll find over on YouTube at Effective Group Coach, and some of them you'll find across our different ecosystems. So with that, thanks for joining us. Thank you, John. Have a great week, and we will see you soon. Be well.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.